Right now, it's all about hashtag on my grind. We're just about to kick off a very important conversation with an important person, and she goes by the name of Miss Mary Thiongo. Karibu sana, Madam Mary. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Morning. Welcome to the Morning Vibes right here on 104.5 Vibes Radio, Karibu sana. And we're going to have a very important conversations regarding agribusiness and opportunities for the youth, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, so just give us a talk to us about your background and what you've done, especially with regards to where you work and also in relation to the agricultural sector in this country.
Thank you very much. As you introduced me correctly, my name is Mary Thiongo,
Yes.
and I've been working in the youth sector for the last, I could say, since 2007.
Okay.
So we're talking about this will be the 14th year working in youth empowerment program.
That's a long time.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, so we're among the pioneer group to start the Ministry of Youth in Kenya.
Yeah.
And we set up the systems there. And then from there, I've been working at Back for Youth Fund.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also had the opportunity of working with youth from across the continent.
Right.
For the last 7 years, I've been working out of the country at the continental level, doing a number of things for youth empowerment, especially in agribusiness.
Yeah.
I was part of the team that prepared the youth employability strategy for the ECOWAS countries. Those are 15 countries in the West African region who are now implementing that strategy.
Okay.
Yes, I've also been involved in the Enable Youth program at continental level, implementing in 4 countries: Madagascar, Sudan, Nigeria, and Ghana.
Yes.
And recently working with the Food and Agriculture Organization Kenya, coordinating a youth empowerment program along the agri-food systems, where we have been trying to see how we to engage young people in the agri sector.
Oh, fantastic.
Doing a lot of things, just not farming.
Yeah.
When you say agri-food system, it's a whole system. It's not just farming. There's so many activities on the farm and off the farm that youth are engaged in. Yeah.
And at FAO, that is the Food and Agricultural Organization, I see you're the coordinator for rural youth employment. What does your role entail?
I've just left that position a month ago.
Oh, formally. Okay.
Yeah, formally. So there's someone else in charge currently, but actually what I was doing during that time there is trying to identify employment opportunities along the agri-food systems for young people, looking at the agri sector from a scope of the value chain approach, and looking out at from the input supply level up to the market level. Awesome. Where can the youth be engaged? Where are the opportunities?
Yes.
What is required for the youth to exploit those opportunities in terms of investment of resources?
Yes.
And supporting young people in terms of skill development. It's not just about where the opportunities are. It's also about, are our youth prepared to take these opportunities up? Do they have the right skills? Do they have the right resources?
Exactly.
So that is where we're coming in to identify the opportunities and as well as prepare the youth to take those opportunities, either by developing their skills, because we are looking at opportunities from 2 angles. Mm-hmm. The angle of wage employment. Mm-hmm. In that sector, what kind of employment exists? Yeah. Do they have the skills required to be employed in that sector? Awesome. And then you also look at it from the aspect of self-employment. Yeah. Can they start businesses in that sector?
So let's just dive right into it. A couple of facts over here. The agricultural sector contributes about 51% of Kenya's GDP, and it also accounts for 60% of employment opportunities in the country, 65% of exports, and all this is according to the World Bank. But at the same time, this sector is it seems to be unattractive towards the youth. Why do you, as a career option, of course, why do you think this is the case?
There are a number of reasons. First of all, it's our orientation.
Okay.
If you look at when you're growing up, I don't know, for us when we were growing up, nobody told us that farming is an option, that we can go into agribusiness and be successful. Yeah. Everybody was being told if you fail, you'll come here and start farming with your parents.
Oh, interesting.
So Yeah, so the perception is that it is for failures.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the successful people will be doctors, they'll be engineers, they'll be lawyers,
True.
they'll be having white-collar jobs.
Yeah.
So everybody was wired from childhood to believe that for you to be successful, you have to get out of the farm and go get a white-collar job.
Yeah.
So and to date, that has not changed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have children, and I'm not sure whether you tell them that they can't go into agriculture.
I actually have a daughter, and I intend to get her into agriculture as early as possible. But when you look at the sector at large, where, for example, as a young man who's getting into agriculture, where should his attention be? Where should as a first-time farmer or, whatever type of farming or agriculture he wants to get into, where should he put his attention on?
I always tell the young people that when you think agribusiness, first of all, remove yourself from thinking it is farming.
Okay.
Because agribusiness is not farming.
Right.
It is it's any activity along that system that moves food from the farm to the plate.
Interesting.
If you look at food moving from the farm to the plate, how many activities do you see?
Yeah.
Even when you just use for example, I will give a very simple thing.
Yeah.
If you're a boda rider, and you start engaging in transporting milk from the farmer to the consumer,
yes,
you are in agribusiness.
That's agribusiness, yeah.
Yes, because you're in the supply chain. You're moving the product from where it is produced to where it is going to be consumed. And it gives you a livelihood. So you don't have to think that you need to have a cow that produces milk for you to be a value chain actor in the milk sector,
That's interesting.
So the changing of the mindset from thinking that agribusiness is farming.
Yeah.
If you're a young person also and you come into the sector of milk, I'll still continue the same example.
Yeah.
Just aggregate, buy milk from farmers. Identify your markets. Just if you're in a village setting or even in urban, like in Kenya, we are the highest consumers of milk per capita in Africa.
Wow.
We have a milk drinking culture. So actually, it usually said, "Uyana pesata na kunya turungi." It means. So milk in Kenya is a very important commodity.
So that's a good start. That's a good start for a young guy getting into the milk, sector.
Yeah, so he doesn't even need to know which cow produces which milk.
Yeah.
He just needs to know where is the milk.
Yeah.
And then you buy the milk and take it to the market.
Awesome. So, Madam Mary, just hold it right there. We're going to be talking about some of the skills that young people have to have, at least as a starter or when you're getting into the agribusiness. So hold it right there. So, guys, remember, we're on #OnMyGrind, and I hope you're ready with your questions for Madam Mary. And very important regarding agribusiness, are you interested? Do you have passion for agriculture? And you're wondering, hey, how do I get started? Well, you should have your answers right now, but just if you have your questions ready. Reasons, UB40, good morning.
Vibes Radio.
104.5 Vibes Radio with Kev Matara. The hashtag is Kwamboks and Kev. Karibu sana. We're having a very important conversation with Mary Thiongo, and this is all with regards to agribusiness. Are you excited about getting into agribusiness? Well then, prepare your questions because we have tons of reasons as to why you should, especially if you're a youth. And it's just amazing. All right, so welcome back, Madam Mary. Hello.
Thank you.
So let's talk about skills. What are some of those skills a young person should have when they're getting into agribusiness?
The first skill a young person should have is business management skill.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're talking as a business, there is a word business at the end. So it means that at least you need some basic skills on how to manage the business. And we don't complicate it a lot. We talked about skill in terms of record keeping. Are you able to do a record keeping? When you're buying stock, are you able to record that? Are you able to keep an inventory? What have you bought? How much have you sold? How much money have you made? Those simple things that help you to run a business and to be able to account for the money that you're putting in your business. So those skills are very important. Now, communication skills. How do you talk with people?
Okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes you find that you're in business, you have very good products, but you don't know how to talk to people, and yet this is a competitive world.
Yeah.
So you may find it's very rare that you'll find you're the only one who is doing that business. So why should I buy from you and not from your neighbor?
Yeah.
It is how you communicate with your client.
Right.
So the communication skills are very important, how to approach a customer. And then you also need to know how to brand yourself.
Okay.
How do you brand your business?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you find some sellers, the way they brand themselves, they have a very attractive way they arrange their products. You look sometimes if you look even at a wheelbarrow, for example, somebody who is pushing a wheelbarrow that is arranged some apples, some oranges, how they are arranged in that wheelbarrow. It's how attractive it is. If they're just lumped together that I have to come and choose my apple from amongst oranges and whatever, and mangoes and everything, then it becomes unattractive. But if you have some small cartons, you have arranged these are apples, these are what, that's basic. Just when you talk about branding, people think big things. They think a billboard and
social media. Is social media important? Is it part of it?
Very important. Very important.
Yeah.
I'll come into that. So skills on how to use social media. Now, most people now, especially since the start of COVID-19, they have resorted to online shopping.
Yeah.
So what is your online presence as a business? Can I get you there? And once I get you there, what is the mechanism of getting the product to me?
Exactly.
Yeah. So those are very important skills for people to have. So you'll find sometimes people know that the social media is important, but they don't have the skill of how do we now create our presence online. So getting those skills is also important on how to get yourself on an online platform to do your business there.
All right, so for the record, guys, today's topic is all about agribusiness opportunities available for the youth in Kenya. And now, Miss Mary, you mentioned agribusiness. Obviously, there's a very thin line. There's a major a slight difference between agribusiness and farming. But when you talk about, branding and understanding your supply chain, we're talking about the markets and that kind of thing. Don't you think it's also important for you to understand the product? For example, if you're going to be selling milk, at least you should know how to preserve the milk, how to, if you can create more value by getting to maybe making some yogurt. So how important is it for you to understand the actual product as opposed to just getting into the supply chain?
You've correctly put it. Very important, because then that also helps you to be able to market it, because you cannot sell what you don't know.
Of course.
Now, if you're going into that chain, of course you need to know if you're going to the milk value chain, because you've brought in the milk aspect. What is it you're going to be selling? Is it the milk, fresh milk? Is it fermented milk? Is it yogurt? Is it butter? Is it cheese? What is it that you're going to be doing?
Yeah.
So understanding your product is very important, because then that also helps you to know who is your target market, how are you going to package it, how are you going to reach out to that target market, and how are you going to reach in terms of supplying the product to that market. And then you also need to know who are your outlets for the product.
Yeah.
Are you going to sell in a kiosk, in a supermarket, or are you going to be a mobile shop, for example?
Yeah.
So that is also important for you to know. Then the other skills, like apart from skills for self-employment, where you're going into business, there's also skills for wage employment. Yeah. And you find that there are some sectors they need people to employ people, like in the agri sector, for example, you need agronomists. People to help in the farmers in doing a number of things. And sometimes it's not a real, like you have to go through a diploma or a degree course or a certificate course for you to become an agronomist.
Yeah.
I've worked with youth in the rural setting, and they've been given basic training on how to help farmers. So, for example, do grafting for mangoes, grafting for fruits, other fruits and even something like spraying.
Yes.
How to help them manage their orchards, how to manage their gardens, simple things that they can do. And you find that because there is an aging farming population, which is average in Kenya is 60-year-old.
Yes,
that
60.
is the average age of farmers in Kenya. Those people, they own farms and they are not able to tend to them well, because sometimes they don't have the right technology, they may not have the right information. Some of them may not have the right, the level of education is a bit low. So you find that there are people now who are coming up in groups, and they are being trained to provide services to these farmers.
Okay, yeah.
So they don't need to own the farm, but when they're in that setting, they'll go there and they'll support the farmer to do the spraying, to do the planting, to do the harvesting. They help them in threshing, whatever they're harvesting, cleaning, grading, packaging, So those are things that young people can do, because why I'm focusing on activities that may not require you to have farm is because one of the biggest challenge we have with youth in agribusiness is that they don't have access to land.
Yeah, and obviously land is expensive too.
Land is expensive. Their parents are still using the land. The land sizes are small, so they are not able to subdivide for the young people to do it. So what is it they can do without the land?
Yeah. So now the other question is, let's talk about capital. You probably want to get into the horticulture. Getting to the farm and then getting the plants. Should I say stuff like maybe kales, for example, kales or fruits and stuff like that. How much are we talking about in terms of capital? Is it expensive? I mean, to get started.
That is relative to the size of farm.
Yeah.
If you're going to do your kales in an eighth piece of land, eighth of an acre, it is not the same as if you want to do it on 10 acres.
Yeah.
So, and always the advice is start small.
Start small. The reason I'm asking you that, by the way, is because I remember I was in Ruaka once, and I was actually interested in getting into horticulture. And the guy told me, you know what, Kevin, the first thing you need is some sort of pickup. And I was like, I need a pickup again. That was just a turn off. So is there a way you can go about it without actually having like a pickup?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't need a pickup. When I started, I was talking about a motorcycle transporting your commodities to farm, to market. I mean, so you need to think small first in terms of how to start small, but with a big vision of where you want to go. So you can start small, do your production on a small piece of land. Actually, 1/8 of an acre, if you're growing kale, you can make a significant amount of money.
That's right.
Depending on how consistent you are, you produce and sell. And then from there, you can go to 1/2 an acre to 1 acre. And eventually, the pickup will bring itself. At that point, you can even just be using a motorcycle to ferry your products to the market. Then eventually you can go to a better means of transport. So if you think like that, you're going to be able to start business and grow. But if you think that you start with a pickup, I mean, you won't get anywhere.
So it's a very competitive industry or sector, should I say? How do you edge your competition as a newcomer in the industry, in the sector?
You differentiate yourself from your competitor. Of course, there is a lot of one big mistake that we make is that we go into the business blindly without having done any background, like a small feasibility to find out the people who are doing this business I want to go into. What exactly are they doing? How am I going to be different from them?
Yeah.
It is the simple things that make you different from them.
Like
maybe just how you pack your product.
Okay.
How you pack your product, how you deliver it to your customer.
Yeah.
Your timeliness, your consistency. There are people who start business today. You find they're selling the kales. Tomorrow they are there. Then you get used to buying from them.
Yeah.
Fourth day they are not there anymore. That they've run short of the kales. So consistency. How you get the product to the customer.
Yeah.
What the quality of product that you're getting to their customer, because customer is a person who is a repeat buyer.
And what about, what's the gold mine in agribusiness? Like, let's say if you want to make quick cash, should you get into like milk, selling milk, or maybe fruits? What's in the market in Kenya now that, it's selling big time?
So you're asking like a golden bullet.
Yeah.
In business, you never have golden bullets.
Okay. So is it? So I'm just going to risk and.
You have attractive opportunities.
Yeah.
And with food, you can never go wrong because every day people have to eat.
Okay.
When COVID started, every other business was stopping, but the food business never stopped. Actually, it was the most successful one because people started eating more because they're just at home.
Yeah.
So with the food business, you will not go wrong. So it is it's a business that you can always be sure you'll make money.
Yeah.
Because people have to buy the food that you're producing. However, you don't go into it blindly because you think people have to eat.
Yeah.
We've seen people growing crops, and then they still complain that there is no market. So start from the market.
Yeah.
Find out what is the gap in the market. Then produce for a market that you are sure about. Don't produce and go and stay in Marigiti waiting for people to come and buy. And then you find everybody has come even from Tanzania bringing products to that same Marigiti.
Yeah.
And then you start saying there is glut. You know, the glut is when there is a lot of supply of products and demand is low. As you know, the market forces of demand and supply.
Yes.
So first start from the market, know what is the gap in the market, know how to time the market. If everybody brings cabbage in April, how can you bring your cabbage in June when there is no cabbage?
Wow, that makes sense. So I'm sure there are a couple of challenges that one would encounter when you're getting into the agribusiness. We're going to be talking about that when we come back, and also how the government is supporting youth. Are they doing enough? Those are some of the things that we're going to be asking you, Miss Mary Thiongo. But right now, let's get back into the music. Stick around for some Rock City. Fit You.
Vibes Radio.
The Vibes Radio, a very good morning to you, Nairobi. My name is Kev Matara. How are you doing this beautiful Thursday morning? And of course, right now, Tukokwa, hashtag on my grind. We're having a very important conversation with Miss Mary Thiongo. She's a former national coordinator for rural youth employment at FAO, which is the Food and Agricultural Organization Agency it's an agency of the United Nations. Yeah, so my guys, too many questions, man. If you're excited about agriculture, getting into the agribusiness sector, well then, prepare your questions so we can throw them to Madam Mary, Miss Mary Thiongo, and hopefully she'll give you all the answers that you want. So, hello, Miss Mary Thiongo.
Yes, right.
Karibu sana, and I hope you're enjoying the reggae music so far.
Yes, very nice music.
All right. So now we're talking about challenges. I'm sure there are some challenges, in the agribusiness. What do you think some of these challenges are, and how can you approach them and make, especially for first time in the sector, how can they be able to navigate themselves through these challenges?
One of the biggest challenges that is always facing people going into agribusiness for the first time, especially those going into the production, is access to market.
Yeah.
Access to market for whatever they are producing usually is a big challenge in this country because most markets are not organized.
Okay.
So you find there's a disconnect between the buyers and the sellers.
Mm-hmm.
So the buyers are complaining they don't know where to get the product from. On the other hand, the producers are also complaining that they do not have a market for what they are producing.
Right.
So you find that there's a serious disconnect and information gap where people who are in that sector they don't have a way of communicating to each other so that as a buyer, I know where the product is, and as a seller, I know where my buyer is.
Yeah.
So that has really been a big problem, and that is why you find that the returns mostly for producers are very low. Because then that is where we find them complaining of brokers.
Okay.
Who are thriving in that sector because they are the ones who are custodians of market information.
Yeah.
Mostly brokers will always know where the buyer is and they know where the seller is.
Yeah.
But then those two people do not know each other.
Do you think it's important for a young person to work with a broker? That's not necessary. You just rather work hard and go straight to the producer. What do you think?
It is important if they are getting a good deal from the broker. We nowadays call them agents.
Agents, okay.
Because one thing, there has been a very big debate about the role of brokers in the value chain, and people have been feeling like they are exploiters of the producers. However, if they are well integrated into the chain, they can be agents that are supporting the market in providing market information and providing market access.
Yeah.
So a young person can work with an agent. And whether you call them a broker or an agent, but as long as they're getting a very good deal for whatever they are selling.
Yeah.
Because that's most of the time why people are crying about brokers, it is because there's a lot of price exploitation, buying from them at very low, from them at very low prices, which sometimes doesn't make them not even break even in their business, and yet they go to sell at premium prices to the buyer. So if there is that kind of good agreement between the agent who is buying and the producer, is okay. However, it's also very good if you can the youth can directly get access to the market. like the real buyer deals directly with the young person. We have a contractual engagement, and then you're producing for a ready market. That is the ideal situation. However, we're also encouraging the youth to come in as aggregators.
Okay.
So that we have some youth who their work is just to buy from the producers, bulk, and sell to market, especially when you go to the people who are looking for raw materials for value addition. They really need huge volumes. And they are finding it very hard to get the huge volumes because farmers are also not organized. So we are encouraging the youth to take up that opportunity. It's a gap in the market, but it's a huge opportunity for young people. So they can come in as aggregators. Right now, I've just received a message that they are looking for a lot of cassava for processing, for export of cassava flour, sweet potato flour, and they're wondering where to get this. You talk to cassava farmers, they'll tell you they don't have a market. There is all these opportunities. So if we can get some young people who can be buying that cassava from farmers in bulk, and then they can supply whoever is doing the value addition. And you find that they have a very huge opportunity there.
Let me ask you, in a situation like that, because I'm from Kisumu, and I know it's many people in Kisumu who don't grow cassava, so would you rather I encourage them to grow cassava and I tell them there's a market for this, or I go to a place where predominantly people just grow cassava a lot? So how should I approach this?
It works both ways, because when there is a ready market, even people producing is easy because they are producing for a ready market. However, if there is immediate need for the cassava right now, you cannot go to grow it. You'll go to where it is already grown.
Okay. Makes sense.
So another challenge in this market is the limited exposure to agribusiness activities for young people. So you find that they're coming into the business, but they're very naive. They don't have the right information, and so that also affects the way they're going to be able to grasp these opportunities. So they need to get a lot of information on what they're going to produce, how they'll produce it, the kind of markets they're targeting. You find some markets they will require some specific type of product. For example, if I can dwell on the varieties of products that you'll require. If you're going into production of cheese, for example, you'll require to produce milk that has high butterfat content. So you need to know which cows will give you milk with high butterfat content.
And with regards to information, where can they access this information?
This information is nowadays. There's a lot of information online. We have these colleges that are dealing with the agriculture colleges that are almost in every county. We have agriculture extension officers. We have the Ministry of Agriculture, very well equipped with very highly skilled personnel there. So if they are able to access these officers to give them that kind of service, and when you look at the Agriculture Ministry, because it is devolved to the county level, every sub-county has an agricultural officer who is highly qualified. They have all this information. And if they don't have any information, they know where you can get the information. They can give you reference on where you can get specific information that you need. So it is good for young people to know how to utilize these resources that are within their disposal. You find that most young people don't even know where to find an agricultural officer.
Exactly. And speaking of which, last year the Ministry of Agriculture rolled out about 2 billion that was meant for youth to establish agribusiness enterprises. Do you think this is a step in the right direction to making this sector should I say, attractive to youth? Do you think it's a step in the right direction? And do you think they're actually going to go and get this money and start this, these biasharas?
Yes, they will. Actually, one of the challenges, like we're talking about challenges, is access to finance. And access to finance is because it's not that there is no money. The money is there with financial institutions. But we find young people to be risky to lend money to. They don't see so it's very challenging for a young person to access finance from financial institutions. Now, with this kind of resources that the Minister of Agriculture is putting in place, I hope you're talking about the Enable Youth Program.
Yes.
So with this kind of facility, there's going to be a credit guarantee scheme, which means that young people, if they want to borrow money, it will be guaranteed in a way that it de-risks the money from the lender. So the lender does not have a high liability lending to the young person.
Yeah.
And this will really enhance the access to finance for these young people. This is a big step in the right direction.
Yeah.
We also want financiers to gain confidence that young people are credit worthy and they can be good borrowers.
True.
So they only need to be trusted and be given the opportunity, because not all of them will fail. And if they're given the right kind of support, if you look at the way the Enable Youth program is structured,
yes,
it is structured in a way that it is going, first of all, to do a skill development, capacity development for young people, both technical capacity and business skill capacity, so that when the young people go into the incubation program and the acceleration program, they're going to be given skills on how to manage a business, how to manage financials, that is financial literacy, and also how to technically do value addition if they're doing value addition. If it's production, how to get the right skills of production.
Yeah.
And so it means that by doing that in itself, giving them the skills, you're already de-risking the loan.
Wow.
Because they're going into the business understanding what they're supposed to do there.
True. And as we wrap
then
up...
From there,
sorry to cut you short, but as we wrap up, do you think agribusiness is the last beacon of hope for Kenyan youth?
Yes, because when you look at the 2019 census report, it says that about more than 60% of our youth are based in the rural areas.
Yeah.
So if they're based in the rural areas, you understand our rural areas. The biggest driver of its rural economy is agriculture.
Yeah.
So yes, if we are able to equip these youth very well in terms of skilling and in terms of retooling them, in terms of changing their mindset, in terms of helping them to identify opportunities.
Yeah.
I've realized that there's a big problem with our young people in identifying opportunities.
Yep.
They're not able to see. They're not able to see where the opportunities are, and that's why you asked me where the golden bullet is.
Yeah, because
most of them don't know how to identify opportunities, so they'll come into the market or into the settings where they are, and everybody is producing milk, and they're thinking of buying a cow to produce milk also. Instead of thinking, okay, in this community, there is even no local yogurt.
Yep.
If I can produce my yogurt and mark it down by 10 bob from the commercial yogurt, I'll get my customers.
Exactly. So thank you so much.
So helping them to come up with those ideas is also very important, because then it helps them to see the variety of opportunities of what they can do with very limited resources.
Makes sense. Miss Mary, it's been really awesome having this conversation with you. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. And if guys have questions for you, because I can see now, I don't think it's possible for me to put them out there. Where can they access you? How can they reach you?
I'm accessible. You can give them my email address.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Maria Thiongo.
Maria Thiongo
at yahoo.com.
Asante sana. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you again.
Karibu sana, and thank you very much for having me. And I wish all the youth the best of luck as they go into agribusiness. It is exciting. There is money there. It is worth $1 trillion by 2030. So it's a huge market.
Wow, impressive.
We are now members of the regional trade. The continental trade agreement was signed. Kenya is part of it. We are looking at Africa as a market where we can sell.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, before I let you go, are women actually interested in getting into agribusiness as much? Are you impressed by the numbers in Kenya?
80% of women are in agri sector.
Very nice. That's actually really good. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, too.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too. All right, guys. So I hope you've learned a thing or two right there regarding agribusiness. Man, $1 trillion. The sector is worth $1 trillion. It's going to be worth $1 trillion in 2030. Man, really, really important fact over there.
Vibes Radio. We rule the nation in this generation.